America's only Irish station, Radio Irish. That's what you're watching and listening to. Sean McCarthy here. Welcome to part 2 of our exclusive interview with artist and sculptor Victori, who tells us something about his fascination with painting God.
My painting, a lot of painting of so-called God. I paint a lot of God's portrait. A lot of God portrait, I close my eyes. How the hell do I know God look like? So you just close your eyes and doodle up and just nose. You close your eyes, but you're still imagining the God's eyes and nose and a whole bunch of beards and the hair flowing. Then open your eyes. They look like God. So one time I had a show. I was painting a big painting, and people watching. It was some show. People, oh my God, he's painting God! They recognize it. So I'll show you that painting a little later. It's in here anyway. So then you can say that's not God, or some imaginary guy or whatever.
Well, interestingly, Victor, you have never restricted your palette to accepting only the finest oil paints. Indeed, among your entire portfolio, some of your paintings have been created using materials such as enamels, acrylics, oils, gasoline, typical house paint or watercolours, explaining that the mood of certain portraits requires particular texture and thickness, with your media ranging and including linen, canvas, panel, wood or glass. You're also a sculptor, and here in Rutherford, New Jersey, your gardens, which are viewable to the public, spring to life with a variety of your sculptures created by mixing concrete and sand into a mortar. There's Moses, Jesus, Zeus and Buddha, all measuring at over 9 feet by 11 feet. There's even a multiplism Moses, and you were working on a brand new sculpture next to Moses titled Dominguez Photo. What's your new sculpture all about, Victor?
I saved one space, but I couldn't figure out how to build a time capsule, whatever it is. So I believe my work will last far longer than my life is, even my children's life. So the things I mostly want to create, even paintings, I want my painting to last a long time, so I use particular material like a burlap. And burlap you bury in the ground is still there. So I prime that to paint. And anything that's something permanent, oil to me is a little too fragile and naive and kind of too simple. So I want to kind of concrete mixing kind of color. It just stays rock hard and never changes. So that's the reason I'm mixing all different mixtures to paint paintings. We'll show you that later. And so finally, I stopped by the Home Depots and Lowe's, somehow get an idea how to build a time capsule. Time capsule normally people build it on the ground, but this is going to be a sculpture above the ground. And the concrete and some hot heat is going to burn it up inside. So finally I figured it out how to build a time capsule airtight. So all my books and some blah blah writings and small piece of my sketchbooks and even me, my wife, my kids' photographs and some news articles. I have tons of news articles. And I've been on written news article every city I travel to, and on television and interviews, and every city I went, in Chicago, Milwaukee, or San Francisco, Los Angeles, all over the place. I would run out of wall to display my newspapers. So I want to laminate all those things and bury it inside a time capsule. I hope somebody to open in 100 years from now, like 22nd century, 2100. Or some Valentine's Day or something. So that's what I've been thinking so long to build this time capsule. Finally, I found it. So that's why I started it. So it's going to be really, really nice piece. Now that airtight machine is inside the concrete already, just the base. So far, base alone, I spent about 70, 80 concrete bags, just the base. Then probably another 100 bags going to be the sculpture. I chose concrete because I realized I'm not a real professional sculptor. I play around with all these little clays, but it's all amateurish, and it just cracks and disappears and break it. I started making some ceramics, and there's some multiple ceramics. Bring some of those multiple ceramics, and if you drop, it breaks. Then I realize, how can this thing cannot be broken? So this is my ceramic sculptures. So it's all still multi-faces. This is the cup, and both hands.
Incredible. I love
Both
them.
hands.
Look at that, all the faces in them.
This is my chart.
Yeah, old and
So
old.
actually, yes,
Faces
all
again,
all
faces.
faces, and
Very interesting.
I made it this way first.
You can see
I
those,
put it this way. I decided I would trick. So there's.
Do you sign them?
I think I signed it somewhere. Yes, and some pieces I'm gonna put it in, and concrete they're using for bridges and buildings. So why not my sculptures? That's why I started using concrete, and I had my sculptures with the gold leaf. I spent thousands of dollars for fixing them all, but heavy sunlight, it's all just vaporized years later. And some people passing through here, what is that? So some person had a debate. Saying, no, that's concrete. No, that's a plastic. No, that. So some guy, construction guy must be, came with a hammer, broke the finger off. you see, that's the concrete. I went outside and my finger's broken in sculpture. I said, oh my God, this guy. They want to find out what I made out of, because all with gold leaf. So it is permanent. And Mayor John Hibb said, you know, it is a treasure. I'm glad you stopped in Rutherford. I mean, we love to have you here, but somehow plan to preserve your sculptures in long run. Because it stays outside and snow, rain, freezing, and concrete do crack. Yeah, the Moses toes started cracking down because there's always snow and ice and freezing. So somehow that could think about later days.
On the thought that your sculptures are here for the public to see in Rutherford. I've seen them many times myself walking up Ridge Road,
Right.
and they're really a part of the fabric of what Rutherford is today. They're very much a part of what Rutherford is as a town, as much as William Carlos Williams' house or the Williams Centre or even the monument in town or Borough Hall. Did you realize when you put them there that they would have that lasting effect on the people who live and who pass through the town? And how does it feel to have had that
Well,
effect?
it was beginning. It was decoration, just for my own house. I want my house to be here a long, long time. I have no loans, no nothing here. So Mayor suggests one day it could be a private museum or a public museum, depending on how you decide and your wife decide. And as far as maybe his suggestion, you may be surpassing the William Carlos. Because I said once, why don't you arrange for me to buy William Center? And I'll just turning into a Victory Museum. And somehow we arranged to look at it. it is kind of impossible for me to put in the museum because it's all 5 theaters. All the floors are slanted. They built it as a theater. Mm-hmm. There's no flat space nowhere. And a gigantic ceiling. So if it is somehow flat floor, I'll definitely get it to make a public Victori museum. But it just slanted floor, and it just can't be done for some reason. So I'm pausing it for this point. For me to get it, no big deal, if that's feasible. But I pass that one for now.
You've written 3 books, Victor, including a book titled God and I. And you've written about your beliefs, saying we are all God's children, no more or no less. Everybody is equal. We are living in the heaven on earth, and I am the leader of my soul. I am the master of my mind. I am the director of my life. I am in my spirit is in heaven and earth. I am in my body is I am in God, and God is in me. I am the slave of my mind and soul. I'm here to serve, give, love, and share best I can. I am who I am, that I am, with you and glory of life and God's. The last line there, you mentioned God's. I thought interestingly.
God?
Plural.
Oh, God's.
God's, plural. Do you believe there is more than one God?
Oh, absolutely. We all same, exactly same. Let's say, if you go to forest, how would you say which tree is bigger, smaller? The tree is a tree. If so, same as God's children. Why not dog? Can you catch it's like a Rocky movie. Can you catch that chicken running? Or even, can you fight with a mad dog? Or people think they are so smart and they above. No, you cannot even catch your fly sitting on your nose or your hand. You can. They're much smarter than you. Before you try to catch them, they fly away. So the other day, my wife's came home after hard work. She said, "So, what did you do? Good business, and you're working too hard." I said, "Victor, you're right. You lucky. You fucking great life. You have a great life. All you gotta do just paint and create." And you don't have to worry about anything else because she's taking care of the bills. I mean, I don't need money. I don't care about money. And I just have a couple of credit cards running around the bills. And she takes care of it. It's been that way for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what she said. So, on God's, everybody is God, their own God. Everybody, you are your own God. One time the girl came to stay with us temporarily, and she's fighting with her husband and crying and just so miserable, she thinks. So one time I got home early and she was there. I said, her name is Sheila. I said, Sheila, let me tell you something real quick. Yes. You are your own God. Yeah, you are you are the one who controls you. What you want to do, just don't tell anyone else what you want to do. Remember, you are your own God. Guess what? Next day she picked up and left.
That's the end of that.
Right, that's what happened. So I said, my hand is the hands of a God. Just like Michelangelo said, he's doing God's work. So do you. What you're doing, what you wish to do is all up to you, and then God, of course, God in you, let's say, up to you.
In September 2013, you unveiled a completed 8-foot by 12-foot painting on panel, a commemorative painting of the tragedy that befell America on September the 11th, 2001. Talk to me about this painting, Victor. What is it you wanted to depict here?
Well, I did first 9/11 painting, and it is really treasury. But everybody talks about it, and they have little ceremonies and TV news. The next day, be all forgotten. And actually, newspaper are asking me, "What are you going to do about 9/11?" What do you mean? What do you mean to do? Why don't you paint one? So that's how it started for the first one. And I did sketch a lot for what happened. All I do is everything I do is start from the sketch. Just close your eyes, whatever you think, just sketch. And when I sketch, finish a whole sketchbook. Just sit down and finish. So whatever comes, then you pick the one you want, you like the most. And the second one, this time I said, I wanted to document. Years later, from 20 years, 50 years, 100 years from now, everybody, all forgotten. And it was just a little history book and little comment. But if they happen to see that painting, is that really happened? Does that really happen like that? So I didn't paint to show somebody beautiful painting or how good I paint, any of those. I just documented what happened, particular places, what is what, and how people felt that time, how many firemen and policemen are running into fire, while everybody trying to run away for their life. It meant something, really. Sometimes I kind of, my wife saw, and we both saw from the hill, that just smoking out of World Trade Center. Because my last day of retirement was July 11, 2001. That's the day I delivered the painting to Donald Trump. The painting's here. And he didn't like it. It's big, life-size painting. I don't like it. I said, what do you don't like? What do you don't like? Tell me, what do you don't like? Well, I don't know. And later on, I find out his hair. His hair is always borrowed from back to the front. I push him a little bit like a Kennedy hairstyle in between. And one time I saw some news program, and I know he's meant to kind of show me or telling me, leave my hair alone. He push up means like he's not bald. So we put the painting in the van, and let's go have a lunch. We fell down. I didn't feel good. My wife, Maria, didn't feel good, so I said, I keep driving, and where are you going? Well, we want to go to a restaurant in World Trade Center. That's where I met first time. 1979, I took her to Windows of World restaurant at the time, and she's still talking about it. So at the time, that day we went up there again, had a nice dinner. And so that was July 11, 2001. And 2 months later, we saw, from by the giant stadium, the hill, just Twin Towers just burning. She's, Victor, come here. We drove there and stand there and looked at it. I said, well, what the hell? I don't want to put myself in, but I put her face in the painting. Well, I'll show you. Now I covered those one somewhere else. So that painting will stay there as document for a long, long time. Either I'm here or not here. That was the thing I wanted to do. That painting.
What do you say to people about that painting, Victor?
Well, it was a tragedy. Some individual couldn't handle control of it anyway, but that's external tragedy brought to America. That was should be documented to me, and some people will appreciate that. I want to display in Victory Museum one day, just like I said. One day, it's actually I think John Hibb's idea. One day, some big museum I happen to be a little recognized, and want to buy my paintings and rip apart and take into Manhattan and leave it in their museum, and dug out the Moses, my sculptures, go to Manhattan. I mean, if they can bring the piece of pyramid to the museum in Manhattan, anything could happen. But I hope that not that happen. I hope I talked to John Hibb. Should stay in Rutherford and got to be preserved in here. And that's it.
What do you want people to remember most about you as an artist?
Well, it's not me. Me is not important. The work I did, because all my work will last way far longer than I ever will last, and because also such a amount of painting I did. Well, as far as now, still, I mean, some island in England, Copenhagen, and some Scandinavians visit to the Manhattan, then get a painting done. Well, we're going to leave it tomorrow, and please ship to us. So a lot happened. So painting, we shipped a lot of places, and mainly not just as a portraitist, as created new art form, multiplism. It's a real thing, as emotions and motions together. Those I want to be known, and my work will recognize in years later, because I thought I did a lot of good work. And a lot of people said, why so much religious? It's not really, because every individual has this religious thought in their mind. Like, I forgot to mention last one. There's one God, they said. But there's one God, but everybody believes in different God. And their God is the right one. Yours no good. My God is the right one. So they fighting and killing each other, don't they? So, and meantime, if you happen to go to, if you happen to be study a little bit of a Hindu, they have 30,000 or 30 million gods. You have no idea how many gods they have. They truly believe individual is their own God. I not entirely agree, but supreme God, yes, you are all little gods spread out. So that's one team. See? Earth. Some rock, I don't want to be in earth. He leaves. Then another tree, no, I don't want to live in this earth, and I'm going to leave. And ocean, no, I don't want to be here, and it's to start to leave. Everybody start to leave. For instance, like a no gravity thing. There's no earth. There's a earth. Word earth does not exist. So nobody believes in God. I don't give a shit. You, me, no, I don't. Nobody believes in God. God doesn't exist. It really is. It becomes all as a team in harmony. Can you imagine? No, I don't like my right arm. You chop it off. And well, no, I don't need a two leg. Gotta buy two shoes. I get rid of one leg off. I want to walk around one shoe. You see? So that makes you. Your hair, your hand, your fingers, everything about you is you entirely. Just like a God, we're all together as one. You're the piece of Him. And He's piece of Him. And the whole thing is just is a piece of him. And it's the hands of God. It's my hands of him. So do things I do. I happen to believe in that, so I paint so many card pictures. Well, some people don't like. Well, you cannot please everyone, so.
You can't please everyone.
No, definitely not.
Victor, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for coming. My God, you're very handsome, and I cannot believe how good this interview is.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you, Victor. Thank you very much. Portraitist, painter, sculptor, author, and ordained minister, South Korean-born Victori there, speaking to me here on Radio Irish, and I certainly enjoyed my time visiting the Victori Mansion in Rutherford, New Jersey, and studios. What a thoroughly insightful look into the living world of one of the true American greats. As I began to assemble my equipment to leave Victor's presence, he turned around and presented me with the remarkable surprise of not one, but two of his original paintings, one from his contemporary collection, and a second, larger painting which was completed in 1973 and which features a group of musicians. He had earlier asked me what I liked in life, and I had said, music. America's only Irish station, RadioIrish.com.
This is Radio Irish.